You were tuned in to episode 69 of the Goodfellas podcast. I am your host, G5 Jeff TV, aka G5, aka 5, aka the Guru, in the building. As you can see, I am in here dolo today. VP Shane should be in here pretty soon. Just sending a message a couple seconds ago. Big shout out to BoxingFirstVlog. Wherever you at, bro. Big salute to you. Man, appreciate all of you guys just holding us down. You know what I'm saying? Greatly appreciate it. I usually do my mic check 1 2 1 2 off camera, but I'm on camera. If you listening, put a 1 in the comment section if you can hear me all right. Because I was unable to do a mic check before I jumped on. Please put a 1 in the comment section if you can hear me okay. Chris G, my boxing son in the building, said we are good to go with a 1. So we're going to get up and cooking. We're not going to really waste any time. Antoine King, what's going on, bro? Appreciate you. Said you can hear me pretty well. I'm cool with that. Man, let's jump right into it, man. Tank Davis, Rolando Romero. It's going down May 28th on pay-per-view. This fight, absolutely no surprise to anyone. It was really just a matter of date and venue. Romero was supposed to be the opponent. He had an unfortunate outside situation that I think he ended up getting cleared on, or was no charges made or anything like that. And we got Tank Davis versus Isaac Cruz Gonzalez. Tank got a decision victory in that fight. And then we have Tank and Rolando Romero May 28th pay-per-view. So the big question is, are you buying it? Are you buying it? My boxing son, Chris G, said, I'll buy it maybe just to see Rolly get KO'd. That's what a lot of people saying. They just want to see Rolly get knocked out. And I don't know, some people, like some Rolly Romero fans, took it as an offense, but I said that Rolando Romero was a new age Ricardo Mayorga. And I'm not saying that he's not more talented than Mayorga or anything like that, but I said that statement in the sense of Mayorga talked his way into every single big fight. He talked his way into every single big fight. When it comes down to press conferences and starting drama, he's top 5 all time in the history of boxing when it comes down to that. But Rolando Romero can literally talk himself into any fight. He talked himself into this Tank fight. I think he could talk himself into a Haney fight and whatever other fight he want. But he's the new age. He's the new age Ricardo Mayorga as far as I'm concerned. Key Dunbar, what's going on? Said Rolly is being underestimated big time, bro. Key, can you elaborate? Can you elaborate on that? Why do you think he's being underestimated? Because inside of the ring, Rolly brings a certain level of awkwardness that does bring some intrigue to this fight. Because if you're gonna catch Tank with something, is going to be something from an unorthodox fighter, and Rolly is definitely an unorthodox fighter. So his punches come from different angles. He's rough, rugged, damn near dirty inside of the ring, so he can really turn it ugly. But I mean, it's such a wide gap in terms of talent, not only physical talent, but just boxing talent. It's kind of hard to say Rolly's being underestimated big time. If you want to say he's being underestimated a little bit, I guess I can roll with that. But to say that he's being underestimated a lot, Key, I just want you to come in and actually explain why you say that from a technical standpoint. Chris G, Rolly going to get stopped early, less than 5. Yeah, I think Rolly's going to get stopped. When? I don't know. I got a weird feeling like Rolly Romero is going to talk a bunch of trash going into the fight. But I think like the first like 2-3 rounds, I think he's going to actually try to fight smart, like fight responsible. Like I don't think he's going to come in like guns a blazing. And he does have a solid corner with him. So I wouldn't even expect for Rolando Romero to come in and really fight crazy. You know what I'm saying? Conrad in the building. Big shout out to Conrad Boxing family in the building for sure. Conrad said Rolly is trash, but the fight makes good numbers. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're gonna promote a pay-per-view for Tank, if he's not gonna cross the street, this is probably the best option that he has. Rolly does have a name to a certain extent, plays the part, talks the talk, and we're gonna see if he can walk the walk. But pretty much after this fight, it's a bunch of question marks for Tank going forward, and I'll get into that in a moment. I'm gonna try to wait it out until Shane get in here so we can actually talk about that. Conrad, I'll watch for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely watching. I'm just, do I want to pay for it? Like, I don't know if I want to pay for it or not. Depending on the undercard. If the undercard tight, I'll pay for it. But it's too many fighters out there at 135 and 140 to limit yourself to just Rolando Romero. So I don't know. I don't know. It's a wait and see thing. Key Dunbar. Tank will be extra cautious. He does get caught a lot, but he knows Rolly has serious power and Rolly will have to make it a dirty fight. I agree with that. 100%. He's definitely going to make it a dirty fight. He might even get a point deducted in this fight. If I had to bet it, I would say he is going to get a point deducted in this fight. So I definitely think so. That's the only way he's going to win this fight. Make it dirty, turn it into a dog fight. If it's any type of a boxing match, Tank wins running away, hands down. So he's got to turn it into a real street fight. And it's possible. It's possible because, I mean, one of my favorite fighters of all time is Vernon Forrest. And Ricardo Mayorga beat him twice by doing exactly that, just being unorthodox and making it into a fight and not a boxing match. There's a lot of boxers out here, but there's a lot of boxers that can't fight, you know, when they in a real fight. Key Dunbar, if Tank boxes, he wins 100%. If it's a fight scrap, I see it as 50-50. I still would say Tank is the favorite, even if it's a dog fight. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's a dog fight, I still think Tank would be the favorite, but it just gives Rolly a bigger chance to win the fight, to pull off the upset if it's that style of a fight. But I do think Tank can beat him at his own game. I just don't think it's smart. Chris G, in quotations. Understood. Level Sports, what's going on? Said, yo, shout out G5 Jeff TV from the UK. Big shout out to you, bro. We appreciate you jumping on, man. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the first time seeing you on. So, I mean, if you got a boxing channel or whatever, man, we could definitely link up. If you want to jump on, that's cool too. Just let me know. And we can definitely make that happen, man. Appreciate you stopping through. But Tank is one of the biggest names in the sport. You know, you ask Leonard Ellaby, you ask Floyd Mayweather, he's a pay-per-view star, pay-per-view darling, and all of that good stuff. But this fight is something that Tank is going to have to basically redeem himself. Now, he had bad circumstances in his last fight. Late replacement, Isaac Cruz Gonzalez. The fight was scheduled for a Sunday, which I completely did not understand. Not during the NFL season. I didn't understand that, but that's what they did. And according to reports, he only did, I think, less than 50. I think he did less than 50,000. And, you know, pay-per-view stars don't do 50,000. I don't care what the circumstances are. Pay-per-view stars don't do 50,000. So he going to come back on this one and do he need to do at least 200. He need to do at least 200 on this one, because, and this is the reason why. And to be honest with you, I don't even like talking about the Tank situation, because there's so many people that's sensitive out here. Like, as soon as you make a statement that's accurate, they think you coming at the fighter or the promotional company or the management or something like that. And a lot of times that don't be the case. Like, we're just talking boxing at the end of the day. Tank, well, not Tank, but Floyd came out and basically said, we're not in the business of trying to make another company rich. That's what he said. And from a business standpoint, he's correct. You shouldn't be in the business of making another company rich. But this is one of them classic situations where you're cutting your nose off to spite your face. And Tank has this fight, and pretty much after that, there's not anything else on the table from a PBC standpoint that will be appealing for Tank for a pay-per-view fight. You can put Tank at 140, he gonna have to cross the street. You can put him at 135, top names, he gonna have to go across the street. Or somebody from across the street is gonna have to come to him. In order for Tank to get the biggest money fights and the legacy fights, he's gonna have to cross the street or have somebody from across the street come to him. That's the bottom line of it. I don't care if you're a PBC fan, an Al Heyman fan, a Tank fan, a Floyd Mayweather fan, or you can't stand none of them. At the end of the day, Tank Davis is going to have to cross the street or have somebody from across the street come to him in order for him to continue to be on pay-per-view with big fights. But as far as I'm concerned, Rolando Romero is the last name that he can fight on pay-per-view and nobody be screaming about it. Level Sports. Yeah, I got a UK boxing channel. I pulled my ticket for Wembley for Fury versus White, and I'm going to cover the fight in Wembley on my channel. I'll do live streams in the stadium, maybe record a vlog. That's dope, bro. That's dope. My bro Shane, VP Shane, he in the UK. You know, he should be in here shortly, but that's dope, man. I'll definitely come check you out. And it's crazy that you on here, man. We was actually looking to actually team up with somebody from the UK, because we got some things in the works that we might be trying to work on down the line, like a show, like another show, but have it like UK based. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna catch up with you, man. Like, for sure. If you got social media, man, definitely get with me on social media for sure, man. But that's dope, man. That's dope. Did you get credentials, or you just gonna be vlogging from the seats and outside the arena and all that? Key just gave a follow on the gram. You know your boxing. Mr. Dunbar, appreciate you, bro. Definitely I'll follow you right back as soon as I get off this joint, man. But I talk boxing on camera, off camera, don't matter. My bro, YSM Sports Media, said, don't disrespect me by asking me this question. Bro, that question was not directed towards you, bro. That question was not directed to. I want to be on record. YSM, that's my bro. That's if I was ever in trouble, he'd be one of the guys I call. That question was not for YSM Sports Media. I want to make that perfectly clear. It was not for YSM Sports Media. But big shout out to my bro, man, for sure. Burt Wood, why is Teofimo Lopez moving up in weight? Is it because it's hard for Teofimo to make weight at 135? Lopez did not even try to get his belts back. First of all, big shout out to Burt Wood, always holding it down in here. It's always been rumors that Teofimo was struggling to make weight. That was always the rumor. I never seen him on the scales and he just looked completely done. My personal opinion. But if he said he was struggling to make 135, if you're struggling to make 135, then the belts, I mean, essentially it's more about you coming into a fight comfortable versus you trying to fight at a weight class that you outgrew just to try to hold on to the belts. So Teofimo is as good as he think he is. He can just go on a conquest at 140 and try to accomplish the same thing. It'll be more difficult, but because he has to get acclimated to a new weight class. Not saying that 140 is more talented than 135, but there's just other levels of concern at 140 because it's some 140 can go about 10, 15 deep with quality fighters. So Teofimo not going to be able to come in there and just do whatever he want. You know what I'm saying? Boxing learner, what's going on? Family in the building. Yes, he can't make the weight no more. That's what I figured. That's what I was told. I don't know anything in terms of the camps. The only person I know that was close to Teofimo was Padman McGriff. I mean, of course, I can get him on the horn and get more information in regards to that. But that was the rumor. That's been the talk for over a year now that he's had trouble making 135. But they say Devin Haney is another guy that might be moving up in weight because it's hard for him to make 135. And them guys are so young, they're still filling out physically. Their cap is probably 147. Like I could see Haney going up to 147 and some like capping his career off at 147. I could see Teofimo doing the exact same thing. These are big kids in their 20s, and they're not even in their prime yet. Like physically, they're not even in their prime. I can make more of an argument that Tank is more so in his prime from a physical standpoint than Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez is, because them guys are younger than Tank. So we're going to see exactly the situation with Teofimo Lopez going forward. But, it's it's some infested waters at 135 and it's some infested waters at 140. It's deep. It's deep in both divisions. So I think he's going to have a lot of competition no matter where he decides to go. But 140 is a great division simply because not only the talent at 140 is deep, but the guys at 135, there's probably about 5 or 6 guys at 135 that I can honestly say would probably move up to 140, either because they too big for the weight or they felt like they've done everything at 135 and just want new challenges. Boxing learner, no, I won't be buying. Boxing learner, why wouldn't you buy? I guess that's my next question. Why would you not buy the pay-per-view? Now, for me personally, I like Tank. I like Tank. I want to get that out the way. I like Tank as a fighter. He seemed like he's a cool dude outside of the ring. And, look like he's surrounded by good people. I'm a huge fan of his coach, Calvin Ford. Huge fan of his. And I love what he does as a trainer and just being that man standing behind Tank. And he's been there since Tank was a kid. And you could tell that the love is there, the loyalty is there. And you could tell that he cares about Tank and he wants his best interest, but he's not afraid to get in his face neither and tell him when he on that bullshit inside the ring. And I respect that about Coach Cal. So Tank has a real solid foundation. He's physically talented. He's one of the most exciting guys in the sport. And I just want to see him maximize his prime. Like, this is not about PBC, top rank, golden boy, and all that. Like, I really don't get into all that. I really don't care about that. At the end of the day, I want to see Tank face the top guys. I want to see him fight Teofimo. I want to see him fight Devin Haney. I want to see him fight Ryan Garcia. I wouldn't mind seeing him fighting a Richard Coney, a Emmanuel Tegu, even going up to 140. There's Gary Antoine Russell at 140. That's a good fight for Tank. There's a lot of good fights for Tank. It's just a lot of them. Like I said, he's going to have to cross the street, or he's going to have to give an invitation for somebody that does work across the street to come see him. And I think if he does that, and again, I want to reiterate, I understand where Floyd is coming from a business standpoint. He wants to keep everything in house. He wants the money in house, but you don't have too many quality people in the house. That's my point. Like, you don't have a lot of quality people in the house. Like, I think you've exhausted almost all of the popular options that you have on PBC side of the fence. You went the Leo Santa Cruz route. You went to the I mean, it was by accident, but I mean, Isaac Cruz Gonzalez, you went that route. Now you're going the Rolando Romero route. There's not too many more routes you can go in house. The cupboard's kind of bare in house, you know. Boxing learner, because I am not interested in Rolly. Fair enough. Fair enough. And that's the question. I think that's what it's going to come down to. If you a Tank fan, if you're a big Tank fan, you're going to buy the pay-per-view. It don't matter who he's fighting. Or you may only buy a Tank pay-per-view depending on who he's fighting or the undercard. So for me, I'm looking for the undercard. I need at least two fights that I'm personally interested in for me to buy this pay-per-view. I'm not buying this pay-per-view just to watch Tank and Rolly. I need something, a co-main event. It can even be the opening fight on the card. I don't care where the time slot goes. I just want to know there's a fight or two outside of the Tank fight where I can really get up for. And that's what I'm going to be looking for. So I'm really interested to see how the undercard is going to shake. Really interested, actually. And I think this is one of them cards where I think Al Heyman needs to really put a nice co-main on this one. Put a real nice co-main on this one, and really give this pay-per-view maximum support. I think it'll really benefit because, like I said, Tank need to bounce back from that last pay-per-view because it just didn't go well in the circumstances. It's not his fault. You know, you got to blame Floyd and Ellerby and all those guys for the strategy in terms of that pay-per-view. The strategy just didn't make sense. But if Tank is the guy, he shouldn't have no problems going forward. Key Dunbar, Spence versus Ugas prediction, and Charlo versus Castano prediction. A little early for my prediction. Key, since you're new, we do have a website, g5jeftv.com. Again, that's g5jeftv.com. And we have a boxing prediction fantasy league. We are in season 2 right now. It's ending in 2 weeks. But you can still join and make your predictions on there. And the winner of the season 2 is going to get $550 cash prize and a championship belt. And then we're going to have season 3 probably sometime starting in April. And we're going to go from there, man. But I can give you a technical analysis on both fights. I don't know if I have a prediction yet. I don't know if I'm ready for a prediction yet. But starting off with Charlo versus Castano. Let's be 100% real. I'm a fan of Castano. I'm a fan of Charlo. Charlo is the more talented fighter. He's the more versatile fighter. He's the more physically gifted fighter compared to Castano. Castano fights one way. His plan B is his plan A times 2. That's who Castano is. But Castano is extremely difficult to beat because he is elite in his style. He is elite in his style. From a strategy standpoint, Jermell Charlo, number 1, needs to keep the emotions out of it. He's a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve and sometimes comes off real angry and just really just emotional sometimes. Seems like that's how he is. He needs to emotionally keep himself in check, mentally be very focused at the job at hand. And from a technical standpoint, he needs to do the following things. Number 1, he needs to keep his back off the ropes. If I had to say anything, he needs to keep his back off the ropes. And that's not saying he can't fight off the ropes or he can't fight off the back foot. Bottom line is he's putting Castano in a prime position to be successful. He's put him in a prime position to be successful if he's going to be have his back on the ropes. That's not a good look for Charlo. He's not putting himself in the best position to win. So that's number one. Number two, Charlo needs short, quick combinations. Short, quick combinations. And the reason why I say he needs short and quick combinations is because Castano is going to basically go through a process to try to get himself on the inside. And what we like to say is Castano's trying to come through the front door. And Charlo needs to make sure he's charging him an admission fee for coming in the front door. So if Castano's going to get in the inside, you're going to have to charge him with a jab. You're going to have to charge him with maybe a shot to the chest, shot to the stomach, that Mayweather shot, something along those lines. And you have to make him think before he starts charging into your front door. That's number two. And number three, he needs to attack the body early. He need to make that investment early. He hurt Castano a couple times in the first fight. And the thing with that is he needs to build on that. He needs to build on it, not be completely just oblivious to everything else and just think he can go in there and knock him out. He needs to build off of that. Go through the process inside the ring to get himself to that point to where he can get Castano in trouble. The jab, be consistent with the jab, and keep your back off of the ropes. And then counter at the right times. And I think Charlo can win that fight. If Charlo's on his game, bro, Charlo can win that fight 8-4, 9-3 easy. He can make that fight extremely easy for himself. But that's the thing with Jamel. Jamel don't make fights easy for himself because a lot of times he has a high boxing IQ. He just don't fight smart sometimes because of his emotions. Like he gets his emotions involved a lot of times. To go into the Spence and Ugas fight, if Spence jab is on, man, it's gonna be hard for Ugas to really get around that. I think Spence has one of the best jabs in the sport, and Spence is one of the most efficient fighters we have in the game. Everything is short, compact, powerful. Every shot is with a purpose. He don't waste shots. He don't waste movement. Like he's very efficient. And in a fight like that, I'm thinking, can Spence play his regular game and win this fight? The answer is yes. Can Ugas play his regular game and win this fight? The answer is no. So Ugas is going to have to fight the fight of his life and actually do a lot of things in a Spence fight that a lot of guys aren't able to do. Spence don't allow you to get off on him. I'm talking 4 or 5 shots at a time. Spence don't allow that. He's a master at distance. And a lot of things. So it's a tough fight. It's a tough fight for Ugas. Do I think he's going to be competitive? Yeah, in the sense of he's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be no 12-0 or 11-1, but I mean, Spence is a definite favorite. If Spence comes in and he's typical Spence, then I fully expect for him to win the fight, 8-4, 9-3 minimum, and my main man, VP Shane, is in the building. What's going on, good brother?
Surviving in the dunya, bro. Surviving in the streets, man.
Before we get started, I wanted to let you know we have a person in here from the UK that has a boxing channel. It goes by the name of Level Sports. So he said he bought his tickets for the Fury and Dillian White fight. Said he said he's going to cover the fight, but he said he might do a vlog as well. So, I told him I'd check him out after the live and, see what's going on. But I told him he was from the UK too. So, I don't know if you ever heard of him or anything. So,
No.
Conrad, let's be real. It's a sad fight for someone who could potentially be undisputed at 135. Now Loma is gone. Tank.
What? I'm confused.
So he's talking about the Tank and Romero fight. He said it's a sad fight. So
Why?
he said it's a sad fight for someone who could potentially be undisputed at 135. Basically, the level of competition. He don't think Romero is a good, solid
Oh,
competition
oh.
for Tank.
Now that Loma is gone is the part that I'm confused about.
Oh yeah, that part I don't really understand because it's just the now Loma is gone. That almost make it seem like Loma's moving up in weight or moving down in weight. So Conrad, can you clean that up? Because I think you're talking about Tank, but the Loma thing throwing us off a little bit. Boxing learner Tank is very talented, but the undercard has to be good if I'm going to pay. That's
It
where I'm
won't be
at
good.
with it.
It won't be good. It won't be a good undercard.
It probably won't. But
I
that's
mean,
what
what's
I'm
it called
hoping
wasn't
for.
a good undercard. His last pay-per-view wasn't a good undercard.
Yeah. And the thing was, they put less money out for that fight than they're gonna put out for Romero.
Exactly.
So,
Last time replacement.
yeah. So it's not promising boxing learner, but I'm hoping that we can get a solid undercard. For me personally, I need at least one. I need at least one really good undercard fight for me to consider buying this. Because we hold a lot of the 135 pounders to a certain standard in terms of competition. And Tank gets a pass to me. He gets a pass because of Floyd's comments in terms of, oh, we're not in the business of making another company rich.
He gets
Like,
a pass. You don't get a pass from fans. I still
well,
hold him to that standard.
yeah, I still hold him to a very high standard. Definitely, I definitely hold him to a high standard. But there's some people that will throw that Floyd Mayweather comment around and be like, that's the backdrop to why this Rolly fight is okay.
Not a
To
good
be
enough
honest with
answer
you,
though, is it?
say it again.
Not a good enough answer though, is it?
No, I don't. To be honest with you, I don't think it's a good fight. I don't think it's a good fight.
I
To
don't
be,
think it's a bad fight though.
I don't think it's a bad fight because it's trash talk involved.
I mean, let's think about it. How much fights are there at 135 for a PBC fight?
None. Just because that's the only fight available, don't mean there's a great fight. That's just the only option he
I
has.
mean,
Like,
if I was, I wish I interviewed Mayweather, because when everybody interviews Mayweather, they never ask Mayweather. If I had one question, and you know me, bro, if I went to a press conference or something, I'd have one question. The question I'd ask Mayweather is, you try to mold Tank in the style that you were molded in, but the most successful fights that you had, the highest payday fights that you had, were cross promotional fights. So why isn't Tank in cross promotional fight where he can make the money that you made? You know, that's the fact, because he made your highest paydays came in cross promotional fight. So
you're 100% correct. You might get kicked out of the press conference for asking that, but you definitely that's something I would ask too. That's something we've said on the show.
I would ask Tank that same question, because here you are sitting next to a man who made 300 million against Pacquiao, 100 million against Conor McGregor. I don't know how much he made against Oscar, but when he was making these fights, those were cross promotion. Now he's saying that you can't be in cross promotion because he doesn't want to make another person rich, forgetting the fact that he got rich in cross promotional fights.
Yeah.
So
and then the amount of money he made for the Canelo fight, he made good money in the Canelo fight.
I'm pretty sure he did, bro.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like with Floyd's trying to guide Tank's career, like you said, in the same way that he guided his own career. The difference between Floyd right at that time pulling off the strategy and Tank at this time pulling off the strategy is Floyd had a lot more options to keep him busy while the big fights manifested.
And I also feel like the climate's different. At that time, Floyd was the cash cow. Floyd was the Canelo. Floyd was the Anthony Joshua. He was the person that was generating so much money. At this current 135 division, there isn't anyone generating. There is no one who, no matter who they fight, sells. So
Yeah.
the big selling fights are gonna come with good competition. You know, the Teofimo Lopez Loma fights. You know, Cambosis versus Devin Haney. You know, those are the fights that's gonna generate more money. So people are no longer paying for Floyd versus Berto or Floyd versus Vargas. You know, they're not gonna pay for those fights. We're in a climate where when you see in fights like Canelo versus Bivol for $25 or Wilder versus Fury for $75, you're gonna then charge me $75 for Tank versus Rolly. I mean, make that make sense for me because it doesn't.
No, I agree. I agree. And the climate is definitely different. And Tank don't have a lot of dance partners that Floyd is willing to put him up against where
They
there's
could
low risk.
remember during Floyd's time, they could charge as much money as they want because Floyd was the only pay-per-view attraction at that time. He was the only one
Well,
having pay-per-view fights at that time. If you think back at it, he was actually having pay-per-view. He was a pay-per-view attraction when Floyd was coming through. Wood
only
wasn't.
Pacquiao. That was it.
I mean, Pacquiao and Floyd are hand in hand. So
Yeah, I mean, but that's the only other person that was really doing any pay-per-views, which is the reason why I make the statement with when people talk about Terrence Crawford so much and Spence and things like that, and they start talking about pay-per-view stars. And I'm like, neither one of these guys are pay-per-view stars. And it's not because neither one of them are not deserving. It's just simply every era only has one or two pay-per-view stars. Am I correct?
yeah, I mean, the difference is, I mean, it's I guess for the first time in I don't want to say history, but for the first time in my lifetime at least, this battle with the broadcasters has gone to a whole next level. And everybody's trying to get a leg up. You know, we've never seen it at such a big scale from an international perspective and even from an American perspective, where these broadcasters are literally, it's like politics right now, literally like Joe Biden and Donald Trump. It's literally they're trying to gain a leg up in this democracy, you know, in this um vote. You know, you're trying to get polls, you're trying to win the propaganda, you know, really and
Mm-hmm.
truly, everybody's trying to find a way to make their company seem the one that's on top right now. Whereas broadcasting companies have invested so much money, it's like, Jeff, you let's say you invested $150 and no, let's say you invested a 10 grand into something, into a house, you know. Are you gonna say, you know what, bro? I'm gonna turn away from this house. I got 5 more grand to pay, but you're gonna pay that 5 grand because certain people look at it like once you're knee deep in it, you're knee deep in it. You can't
Mm-hmm.
turn away. You can't turn your back on it because you've
Right,
already gone so far in. You know,
right, right.
PBC. I'm pretty sure was it $1 billion that Fox done with Al Heyman. The Zone gave what's it called? The Zone gave Eddie Hearn $1 billion. ESPN and Top Rank. ESPN signed to the highest paying broadcaster in America and the highest paying broadcaster in the UK. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's money being invested in this into boxing, and the amount of money that's being invested and reinvested. It's like, do you pull out when you're in so far, or do you keep going in until you reach the pinnacle?
You know, it's kind of. I'm glad you even gave that example because I'll give it more so from a gambling standpoint. So if you have $1,000, right, and you at the casino and you down, let's just say you down $400, you got a decision to make. You're
Yeah,
gonna walk out that door and be like, all right, I got 600 left, or
you gonna try
no,
and make that 400 back.
I'm gonna try to get this 400 back. So that's essentially what's going on, you know. But I mean, it's gonna be difficult
And it's
for.
also pride for these guys as well. Like it's also pride. You know, a lot of these guys have
Well,
spoken a lot of trash about how good their promotional company is. So
the pride. But see, the thing is, if you think about it, Al Heyman has actually purchased his fighter's pride.
I mean, from a promoter's perspective.
Same thing. Because when it comes down to it, they don't get proper
Okay,
promotion.
let me tell you why I'm saying it's a pride thing. Because Al Heyman's rich, Bob Arum's rich, Eddie Hearn's rich. These dudes are rich. So they
Mm-hmm.
ain't doing it for money. What
Mm-hmm.
else are they doing it for?
Well, I mean, they are doing it for money to get richer, but I guess the
I don't think so, you know.
trust me, they definitely they not in it to lose money. I'll tell you that much.
No,
So
I'm not
I'll put
saying.
it to
No,
you.
I think it's more of a case of the winning. Because bro, they ain't
Well,
making money. Like, bro, I'm pretty sure Top Rank and PBC and Eddie Hearn are losing money on the amount of money that they're paying these fighters, bro. They're
well,
paying these fighters a hell of a lot of money.
well,
And a
the
lot of these
thing,
dudes ain't recouping it.
well, the way the
Especially the
structure
zone.
is, the way the structure is, that's a company problem. You got to think about it. They so take PBC, like when they had Waddell and Reed, and that was the hedge fund for PBC, and this is when they first came out. I think it was reported that Al Heyman gets 10 or 15% of that hedge fund, no matter if it completely bombs or not, because he basically was managing that hedge fund. It's essentially the same setup with all these guys. Eddie Hearn is playing with a certain amount of money, but he's guaranteed a certain amount of money no matter how much the bottom line loses. Bob Arum is the same thing. So they're winning regardless. They're just trying to get as much money for the company as possible so they can keep their perks. You know what I'm saying? But their money is secure. Like their money personally is secure. We're talking about the actual company and what the company is doing. But the companies are so big, they're going to always stay afloat. It's always going to be an infusion of new money. Somebody's going to come in and be like, I can, man, it can be a chick. She just crazy in these streets, just doing whatever. It's always going to be that one person that's going to be like, I can turn her around. I can make her into something. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
it's something like that too. But and it is a pride thing. It's just the way Al's contracts is set up. Pride to get you into fights. And the reason I said the pride, he kind of bought their pride is because pride doesn't get any PBC fighter into a fight.
But
Al Heyman
but
gets
but
them into a
but,
fight.
but pride is the reason why Al Heyman's made certain actions that he's done in the recent years. Let's keep it real. If Eddie Hearn didn't come to the America and he wasn't so aggressive in his speech and what his approach and his budget, Al Heyman and Top Rank wouldn't have reacted in the way they done. And the only reason why they reacted in the way they done, you can make a case that it's money, but is it also a case of, am I gonna let this dude come over here and try and take over what I got? Sit on my patch, try take over my patch. That's pride, bro. That's bigger than money. It's like when you're on the block, bro, it's like you're running a certain strip and this is your strip. You know, this ain't, and then someone comes over and takes over. Yeah, you're making money, but it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that, and
Yeah.
that's how I see it. With a lot, especially if you look how the domino effect of it. Like, let's keep it real. PBC's done more pay per views in the last 3 years than they done in 5 years before Eddie Hearn came to America. That's a
Mm-hmm.
fact.
All right. All right. And it's this perception that um the zone was trying to kill pay-per-view. And the thing is really was the opposite way around. Because I'm like, when PBC first started, they were the ones that was putting absolutely everything on regular
Mhm.
TV and just on premium cable. Nothing was on pay-per-view. And they was trying to flush the pay-per-view thing out because Canelo was doing pay-per-views. And I remember it vividly. And I remember they used to be like, why pay for a Canelo pay-per-view when we giving you all of this for free?
It, it, it,
And that was
it,
the game plan, and
it,
they've done it in reverse now. So they actually
I
doing the
mean,
reverse action.
again, it's a domino effect, but it's also a curse because I look at it and I look at someone like Eddie Hearn, and he's tried to come in and almost destroy the pay-per-view model by giving high guarantees with activity and not and free fights. The problem is he never had the stable to back it up. You know, he never had the stable to back it up. Whereas with PBC, now they got the stable, but they don't have the activity. They don't have these guys active enough. So it comes down to how from a promoter's perspective, how do I make this make sense? And right now we're seeing a lot more pay-per-views than we would have expected to see. And even Canelo now is on pay-per-view, and the zone saying that they're gonna do the zone pay-per-view and stuff like that. I guess that's just to keep up with the market. But the reason why I say it's a curse is because by you saying that pay-per-view is dead and now you're doing the zone pay-per-view, it's like you're almost ruining your unique selling point. The thing that you had in the first place that even made you who you were, the zone, you know, you're ruining it. With PBC, why it's better is because at least PBC was a terrestrial television station. So you can find a boxing fight just scrolling through your channel. The zone, there's so much more streams of how you're gonna get through it. Whether you have to download the app or click the link, there's so much more avenues you have to go through. Whereas at least with PBC, you know, it's old fashioned, you know, turn on the TV, scroll through and you find boxing.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. The zone, we just don't know because we don't know the subscriber count. We don't know what the growth is. We don't know any of
And
that.
you can't say there's no pay-per-view when you've added a price point. Yeah, it might be for a month, but you still added a price point.
Yeah, and everything is even when fights was on, you know, even when fights was on HBO, that was premium cable, Showtime, premium cable. Even back in the day, Tuesday night fights when Vlog and I was, you know, like growing up, like
To
that was
me,
premium cable.
you know where the zone made a mistake, bro? The zone should have purchased another promotional company.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
addition to Golden Boy and Matchroom.
Yeah, but what though? So the reason I asked that is because HBO turned into not only a TV, like basically a boxing home, but essentially they turned into promoters. They turned into promoters. Like they literally was signing fighters to HBO deals, and they literally was a de facto promoter in a sense. And when you signed with a promoter back then, if that promoter was connected with HBO, essentially you were signing a TV deal. It might have been a promoter figurehead, but essentially you were an HBO fighter or you were a Showtime fighter. And if you were an HBO fighter, you wasn't fighting on Showtime. If you were a Showtime fighter, you were not fighting on HBO because you were not permitted to do so. A lot of these the way the contracts are structured and things like that. And the reason they're, for the people that don't know, the reason why they're structured like this is because the TV networks that televise these boxing events, they add no compete clauses. Like they add no compete clauses. Like so Top Rank has a deal with ESPN. Is a no compete clause where PBC can't come over and make a deal with ESPN as well.
I'll keep it real. You know Showtime. Like Showtime are fortunate that they didn't go in the same way that HBO went. Because when Fox came with that big bag of money for Al Heyman, it would have been easy for Al Heyman to just go, you know what? I'm just going to turn around and put all my fights on Fox. But the reason why I say it kind of worked, he was fortunate because Al Heyman has such a big stable, he can spread them over Fox and Showtime.
Correct. Correct, and that's the thing. Like, I just think he doesn't have a lot of even with both of those stations, he don't have a lot of slots from the Fox end because the setup different. You know what I'm saying? Like, the setup's completely different. He can't just get on, like, he pays for those slots.
I mean, Al Heyman, what he's struggling the most with is he's been struggling to give value for money. That's how I'll say that.
No, that's a fact.
I mean, we
That's
got some good fights coming up. I ain't gonna lie about that, but previously,
yeah.
there's no
You've been,
quality control for what goes on pay-per-view and what doesn't.
yeah, it's money control. I mean, it's money control at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? That controls what goes on pay per view and what doesn't. Because you can't tell me Castano and Charlo was free, but I had to pay for Ortiz and Charles
Charles
Martin. Like,
Martin.
like, so it's crazy. Brentwood 122 class is where Anui moving. If he beats Donaire said when he wins, he's moving down to 115 to fight Chocolatito. I would say probably he would make Chocolatito move up. That's
I
what I'm
mean,
thinking.
if he loses to Nui, I don't know where he would go from there, bro. Tough one.
Yeah. Is that fight happening this year? You
What?
think? Anui and Donaire.
I thought it was already announced. I could be wrong.
Is it already announced? Andre Southgate, big shout out to you, bro. Salute. All is a shame. Thought for sure Tank will be fighting the top guys now. He has great potential.
No,
See, like he's getting held up.
he's never gonna fight the top guys because of who he's with.
Correct. 100%. And that's Andre. That's what we were talking about. At what point do you actually, if you're Tank, at what point do you say, hey, like, throw me in the deep end? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because
That
I'm like,
only happens when his peers start making more money then, or making more noise or legacy fights. Because right now Tank doesn't have one legacy fight to his name. Not one. If Tank retires tomorrow, his legacy will be Pedraza.
is he a Hall of Famer?
Are you drunk?
I'm asking the question. I don't
That
think
is a
so,
very stupid question to ask. He's not even. He wouldn't
bro.
even go down. He wouldn't even go down.
I,
He wouldn't even go down as a great fighter. He would go
bro,
down as a
I guarantee you. Now, YSM was in here earlier. I guarantee you, there's people that'll be like he's Hall of Fame right now.
based on what he doesn't. Name me one Hall of Famer without one
I'm not. I'm telling you,
Hall of Fame fight.
I'm not arguing with you on this one. What I'm saying is you're gonna have somebody that's gonna give you pushback.
He ain't no Hall of Famer, bro. He hasn't even had a
He's
standout
not.
fight.
He's not. He's not. He's not. But that's another. That's another point. That's another point. I'm like, at what point are you satisfied with your career?
At least
Like,
with Spence, bro. Spence fought Spence fought Porter. Spence fought Porter, and in a unification, he's gonna fight Ugas in the unification. And if he fights Crawford, which is likely, that's a all-time ATG fight. That's gonna go down in history. 20, 30 years time. That's what that's boxing, bro. When people talk about you 20, 30 years time, same thing with Wilder. Wilder
right.
lost the few, but in 20, 30 years time, people are gonna be talking about that.
Correct.
It's that same thing, the fact that you done something that cemented your name in the history books. Kovalev versus Andre Ward, Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson. Those are the things that Golovkin versus Canelo 1, Golovkin versus Canelo 2. These things make a difference in boxing. Floyd had it. You've made history where people are going to be talking about you in 20, 30 years' time. Time isn't.
I agree 100%. But it's just, I guess I asked that for the Tank fans, not necessarily for you. Because Tank fans is going to have to answer that question. Like, if this is the level of competition that we're dealing with, and he says that he's satisfied with his career, what's the next obvious question? Is he a Hall of Famer?
But I get that. But there's a lot of fighters who you can think they have good ability, but they got to do something, bro. At the end of the day, it's not like the dude's fight. If he fought a Devin Haney, if he fought a Teofimo Lopez, those are fights that stand the test of time, bro. They got shelf life for years, bro. People are gonna be talking about that for years. Unfortunately, there's not one fight in Tank's career people are gonna be talking about. And the funniest thing is, he done things right. He started things right by he took on the Pedraza, he took on Leo Santa Cruz. You know, those are fights that I think were good stepping stones to Teofimo,
I
Devin
agree.
Haney. Not stylistically, but from a marketing perspective.
I agree, 100%. But those are questions that Tank fans are going to have to answer because they keep saying he a pay-per-view star. He's this, he's that. And the only reason I asked the Hall of Fame question, I'm like, you ask some people, Boots is Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wait. What did you say? I didn't even hear what you just said. Who's a Hall of Famer?
I said, if you ask some people, they'll put Boots in the Hall of Fame right now. You know what I'm saying? They put him in the Hall of Fame right now.
Nobody would do that. Nobody would do that. Nobody would do that.
T. Finney in the building said, salute. Does Tank and Rolly get a venue set yet? Or is it in the works?
I don't know.
I think it's
I know the fight's supposed to happen and I can imagine it happening, but I don't know. Most likely Texas or something. Miami or something.
May 28th. I don't know about the venue. Conrad said, well, make Campbell a good offer. That's what we suggested.
They don't
That's
want
what
to
Shane
fight
and I
Campbell.
suggested. How you see that fight going?
Who?
Tank Campbell.
Tank and Cambosis. Cambosis gets knocked out, bro. Anyone who fights Tank's knocking him out, bro. The only person who I see has a good chance of beating Tank is Teofimo Lopez.
Now, see, me, I think it's Haney. Me personally.
No, bro. He gets touched too much as well.
If you think about it, he's really only got touched like 3 times in his career.
Yeah, you only need to get touched once by a Tank and it's over. What would you say about Loma? I don't think my brother said Loma. I don't think so, bro.
Can Loma beat Tank?
No, my brother was saying he thinks Loma has the best chance of beating Tank.
You know what? Tell him. Can he hear me?
He can't hear you. He's over there, though. I can call him.
The thing is, the Teofimo performance is always going to stick in my mind. Like, as long as that fighter don't show up, then yeah, he gives Tank hella problems. He gives Tank hella problems. You know what I'm saying? But as long as that Teofimo guy don't show up, you know what I'm saying? But Loma has all the tools in the toolbox to give Tank all types of issues.
But from a size perspective, you've got to look at it as well. Like, size-wise, I think Loma gets hit as well, bro. I think Loma gets touched, bro. Loma gets touched.
You do.
I feel like the best way of beating Tank is similar to with Wilder. You gotta put your offense off as well. You gotta be very good offensively. That's why I say Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez has the punch power. A right-minded Teofimo Lopez has the punch power, has the speed. He has the ability to land shots and get Tank worried about what's coming back at him. You know, I think to a certain degree, Tank can walk through Loma and definitely walk through Devin Haney.
Ask your brother who you think the top guy at 135.
Huh?
Ask your brother who you think the top guy is at 135 right now.
Hard, you know. It's so hard. To be honest, yeah. I think Loma beats all of them.
You think Loma beats everyone?
I think Loma beats all of them.
Fair enough. He says Loma.
I think Loma beats all of them.
You know the thing that's crazy. Like, I think somebody asked me, like in a DM, like if I had to pick one guy to fight absolutely everybody at 135, like who would it be? Like, and to be honest with you, I think at that time, I think I did say Loma.
See, I would say Loma. I'll say I know he had a bad night against Cambosis, but I'll say Teofimo. I think Teofimo Lopez is the most rounded.
That's true.
Yeah, he's definitely the most well-rounded fighter in terms of this.
And he's big, bro. He's real big for the weight as well.
He got real good IQ. He got real good IQ too.
With a good coach, bro, and with good game plan and game management, he caused everybody problems.
What trainer you think would fit well with him?
It's a good question. Personally, I'm being dead serious. Mark Ramsey.
Ooh, I wasn't thinking that.
Mark Ramsey will get that dude using his size, his strength, his power. You know, get that like what he does with Beterbiev and Rivas. You know, you'll get him aggressive, real aggressive coming forward, working back
in the Cambosos fight.
He
was aggressive in the Cambosos fight.
Yeah, but in that fight, I would say
he was reckless. He was reckless with the aggression.
You know, like there's a lot of people look at Beterbiev and just think he's reckless, but there's a lot of calculated pressure to it. And one thing about Mark Ramsey is his in-game management is amazing. Like he never lets a fight get away. You know, he can see things before it happens, and he'll tell you to press on a fight maybe 2-3 rounds before naturally you think you have to. So let's say the fight's 5-4, 3-2, and you're 1 round down. He's gonna tell you to press the fight. You know, he's gonna. And another thing I think he's gonna get Teofimo Lopez doing is walking dudes down behind the jab. You know, one thing about Teofimo Lopez is all of that. It's in and out, trying to walk dudes onto counter punches and land explosive single shots. You walk a dude behind the jab, powerful jab, get them on the back of the ropes, and then you let your shots go.
And you know another thing that I think TFN actually, this is the one thing that Beterbiev does that nobody gives him credit for, and a lot of people don't do it in the sport. Like he actually sets traps coming forward
all the time.
And it's you rarely see it. But the great pressure fighters, they come forward, but then they're setting traps in the process.
And how much time do you see? And this is another Ramsey trick. How much time do you see Beterbiev change his punch variety in terms of how quick he throws punches? Not every punch is the same speed. One thing about Teofimo Lopez, everything's the same, 100 miles an hour. Other than when he's long, when he's up close, everything's 100 miles an hour. Everything is quick, you know. So once you get the timing right, you know, you could just count them punching between the shots.
That's Devin Haney's problem. Everything the same speed. He don't
That's
have
like Tank as well. That's Tank as well.
Yeah, Tank. But see, that's the thing that I think separates Loma from the rest of them, because everybody talk about his footwork, but the punch variety and the way he changes speeds and levels in terms of the punches, because that's how he catches a lot of guys. Like he really, like, offensively, he's gifted. But the combination of his punch variety and the footwork is what gets him his openings. Like, it's not actually his punch combinations that get him the openings. It's the combination of of the levels of the shots and the footwork that comes with the shots. If you notice, Loma don't really ever sit down on shots. If you notice,
no, not really.
He don't ever sit. He really don't sit down on shots. Like, a lot of his shots are sweeping shots, and like he's always on the move. So I'm always curious with Loma, what actually happens if he actually just sits down on his shots and really start ripping. That's why I think he got a good. I think his power is underrated, because he gets almost everybody he gets in the ring, but he gets their attention, and he don't ever sit down on shots.
That's really true.
Well, it's also come down to the fact that he's hitting at angles that they can't see, and the shots you don't see.
Yeah, because even in the Comey fight, he was standing right in front of Comey, giving it to him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, standing right in front of him. You know, Conrad, he said, "What's up?" He said, "What is up, Andre?" Key said, "Romero was mandatory, though. It's not exactly a cherry pick."
I mean, Tank doesn't have a belt, so it doesn't matter if he's mandatory. What's he mandatory for? What belt is he mandatory for? Tank doesn't have a belt.
Yeah, Key Dunbar. I can see Isaac Cruz being on the undercard. Cruz is fighting Gamboa, ain't
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
Yeah,
Supposed
I wonder if they're gonna throw that on
right.
undercard.
The trash right.
He should be.
Yeah.
Gambo is washed right now. He's washed now.
Man, Gamboa getting passed around like the neighborhood female, man. It's crazy. YSL, no one has free fights except PBC, so it's a balance. You get some fights for free and others cost. I agree with that. I agree with that.
I mean,
Now the levels is different.
There's no quality though. There's no quality control. Like you can't give me Castano Charlo for free, then make me pay for Ortiz vs Martin.
Yeah, I told I don't know if your brother heard this one, Shane. I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going with this one. I'm like, you can't give me the T-bone steak for free and then charge me for the burger and fries. You know what I'm saying?
Literally.
You know what I mean? Andre said, salute Conrad. YSM Fox cut the budget after COVID. That's why we have been getting mid-level fights. That's true as well.
I can't say that. I can't say that, bro, because they tried to make big fights. They definitely tried to. They tried to make Pacquiao versus Errol. I mean, what's bigger than that, bro? That's a massive fight.
Yeah. Travis Bryan in the building. Big shout out to you, bro. He said, "What Charlo talking about? No bud." I don't know. Do you know what happened with that, Shane?
Apparently, Jamel wants Crawford to move up and fight.
Man, he got Castano problems.
Yeah.
He got Castano problems. Burt Wood, Shane, who has accomplished more in their career, Donaire or Chocolatito? Hall of Fame stats.
See, they both taken losses and they both taken wins, which, you know, to me, I think it's high level wins. I feel like Donaire's always going to be in Pacquiao's shadow. You see my point? So it's one of those ones where a lot of his accomplishments are just going to get overlooked because he's from the Philippines, like Pacquiao.
Yeah.
I have to go with Chocolatito, to be honest. Chocolatito.
Is your brother a Stephen Fulton fan?
He likes him, but not like me.
I like him.
Not like me, though.
Who his favorite fighter?
Usyk.
Usyk.
Bro, but my brother's been Usyk's been his favorite fighter for years.
Yeah.
For years.
I predicted Usyk was gonna beat AJ before it even happened.
Like he thinks Usyk beats everyone at heavyweight.
I think I can see it happening.
He beats Fury too.
My favorite. Not just because my favorite. I think I can see it happening.
He beats Fury too.
Yeah, I see it happening. To be honest, in my eyes, Fury makes a lot of mistakes. You know, he's not as good as defensive as everyone thinks. Yes, he's been dropped quite a bit. He's been, how much times has he been dropped? About 5 times now. 5, 6 times.
5, 6 times, yeah.
Yeah, his recovery skills is 100 though.
Recovery is well. That's me. That's the thing.
He like a goddamn zombie. He like a damn zombie, man. Like you knock him down.
But you know, the truth is, like, Fury's gonna have to knock Usyk out to win the fight. That's the problem.
I don't see happening.
The thing that's crazy. I know we made the argument on the show before, but I'm like, Usyk is Hall of Fame right now.
No, I already said definitely.
Right now. I said it before the AJ fight though. The AJ fight just kind of solidified it.
Yeah, there's 3 Hall of Fame fighters right now in boxing. I'll say Chocolatito, Donaire are Hall of Fame fighters for me. Canelo's a Hall of Fame fighter. Usyk's a Hall of Fame fighter. Terence Crawford's a Hall of Fame fighter. Errol Spence is a Hall of Fame fighter.
I don't want to give it to Josh Taylor. I don't really want to give
I would have given it to Josh Taylor, but it's a bit difficult. What's it called? So there's a few Hall of Fame fights. I mean, you gotta put Fury as a Hall of Fame fighter. The dude beat Klitschko.
Is Donaire a Hall of Fame? You mentioned Donaire?
Yeah, Donaire's a Hall of Fame fighter.
So we got what, about 6 in the sport right now?
7 Hall of Fame fighters.
Trying to think of you missing anybody. I don't think so.
I mean, not that I can think of off the dome.
This Brady's Hall of Fame.
Nah, bro. Because he's a top fighter, but you gotta remember, like, again, just because of the division he's in, he's not gonna get that recognition. I'll say this though: if Bivol beats Canelo, remember it's gonna be Bivol versus Batavia for undisputed. The winner of that sort of thing.
That's definitely weird.
The winner of that sort of thing. Oh, Loma's Hall of Fame as well. Loma's Hall of Fame.
You believe Loma's Hall of Fame?
Bro, this dude is a 2-time Olympian, 3-weight world champion, 2-time unified champion. This dude done a lot of things.
And how many fights? And how many fights he done had?
Less than 20, I'm sure.
Less than 20. Right.
Well, we had like 17. Yeah, like 17.
I mean, look at Usyk. Usyk is the fastest person in history to unify belt. Fastest person, and the fastest person in history to go undefeated. I mean, those records, it's ridiculous.
Man.
Are we forgetting anybody?
I've been trying to think of that.
135, 130, 126.
In a way.
Is he pound?
Yeah.
Is he?
I would.
I would give it to him in a way,
Yeah, I would. So that's about like 8.
Yeah, something like that. About 825. That's a good amount.
That's a good, yeah.
And there's a few that can be Hall of Fame as well. I think both can potentially be Hall of Famer. I think the Kirby is a potential. I think there's a few that can be, man. There's a lot of potential.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of potential all the way around. Pink Furry Goddess in the building. What's going on? Said I'm here a little late. I hope you're both doing awesome and bless you. Hey, we appreciate you jumping on for sure. Toby Bivol is currently paying $3.45.
For what?
He said $3.45. I guess betting. But you know, Toby's out in
Australia,
so that's Australian numbers. Big shout out to Toby, man.
I
can't bet that fight, man. I can't bet that.
Me now.
I think Bivol wins.
Bivol ain't gonna get the fight. Even if he wins,
I think he wins, but I don't think he'll get the fight.
I don't think he's gonna get the decision. I might go with Vlog on this one and bet a draw. That's the only way Bivol can win is a draw.
He goes for the knockout.
Nah, bro. I watched recently. I watched Plant versus Canelo recently again. I just thought Plant is so poor offensively. Like, this dude is one of the worst offensive fighters.
No, the thing is crazy, yo. And I'm talking about for people in the States, right? So there was a lot of people watching that fight, and they were saying Plant was putting in work, the counter shots. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck is you watching? I'm like, what are you watching? Yo, listen, like, this all he was doing.
Literally.
Like, that's it. I'm like, that's not putting in work. You ain't following it up with nothing. You're not putting anything, no mustard on it. He was literally going like this. Like, that's all he was doing and moving. I'm like, that's not putting in.
I'm gonna tell people something that they don't know about Bivol as well, bro. The most aggressive I've ever seen Bivol is when Bivol gets hit. Whenever Bivol gets hit, go and watch Joe Smith, Pascal. Whenever Bivol gets hit, that's when he goes aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
You see if Bivol's just winning on the jab, he'll just win on the jab. The moment you try and hit him, that's when he goes aggressive. I've watched in the last since the Canelo fight, I've watched Pascal over again, studied that fight. I've watched Joe Smith over again. I watched this Salamo fight over again. I'm telling you, every single time this dude gets hit with a big shot, he goes aggressive. Go watch the fight back.
It's almost like he gets offended.
Yeah.
And one thing I realized with Bivol as well, his punches remain the same speed and power from round 1 to 12.
Oh yeah, he ain't gonna get because
He
he's
does
bro,
not
he's
get
got the same thing as Bradis, bro. They punch like they pay for their punches, bro. Like it's like every punch is $100, and I ain't punching unless it's counted.
Yeah, they ain't throwing them joints with coupons or nothing.
None of that, bro.
For sure. Toby said, "Yes, sir. How you guys doing today, man? We trying to survive in these streets, man. That's it, man. So I'm sorry. He said I've been
AFK.
AFK. We are going through floods at the moment.
Oh,
man,
I didn't even
that's
know
crazy. I didn't know that, bro. Hope everything all right. For sure. Is there any way Bivol can win a decision? No.
that. He would have to win 10-2.
That's the ball.
Or 11.
He would have to win 10-2 to get a draw.
You have to go Russia. Where's Bivol from?
Bivol's from Russia.
Yeah, you have to go Russia.
If that fight was in Russia, I could see him win.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way he's getting a decision. Like he going to knock Canelo out. He's going to knock Canelo out. We've only seen Canelo hurt twice in his career. Twice, legit. Said some say Bivol hasn't been the same since the Joe Smith fight.
I get that.
He looked bored.
Okay. I mean,
he looks bored.
It's so easy.
Yes.
So I don't think he's ever felt like he's not come out of second gear in one fight. You know, it's not like he's getting hit more in fights. It's not like he's getting hurt or damaged.
But he's physically a lot bigger than Canelo. If I don't know if people seen the press conference, but like mass wise, he is way bigger than Canelo, man. So I mean, if he could try to go bully mode, that might be his best shot.
He's gonna basically be a fresher, stronger version of what Kovalev was.
Yeah.
Kovalev was doing good in that fight, bro.
Yeah,
like
Bivol.
I sent you a clip, and Eddie Hearn even spoke about the Kovalev controversy.
People thought I was crazy. I had Kovalev up.
You know when Kovalev was sleeping on the couch?
Mm-hmm.
Canelo and Eddie Hearn spoke about that recently. I sent you the clip, bro.
For real, send it again because I put them.
Yeah.
I was distracted.
But yeah, so Eddie Hearn was basically saying that he wasn't the reason why that happened. It wasn't his fight because Canelo was upset that that happened to Kovalev. And for those who don't know, and I always say to people, that fight was rigged. Kovalev versus Canelo was rigged. It was rigged.
Can you explain that to the people real quick for the people that don't know?
I'll give you a background. Kovalev had come off a knockout loss to Alida Alvarez. He ran it back close succession in January against Alida Alvarez, and he won on points 12 rounds. Then he went 11 tough rounds with Anthony Yarde in August.
Correct.
And he had already agreed the Canelo fight, before the Anthony Yarde fight had taken place. So he went from one camp to another camp, no recovery, and he fought the Canelo fight in October after fighting Yarde at the end of August. So he had basically the last week of August, September, and October. After coming off, he's already had 3 fights within that year, and then there was a rehydration clause. He had to weigh in on the night of the fight. And then on the night of the fight, they pushed the fight back an hour. They pushed the fight back an hour for UFC. When Canelo's on the pads doing pad work, Kovalev's in the dressing room sleeping. It's literally on camera. Canelo was upset about that they pushed the fight back an hour. And he spoke about it recently in an interview. And Eddie Hearn was basically saying it wasn't my show. Because it was on the zone, people thought it was Eddie Hearn's show, but it wasn't. But Kovalev was sleeping on the couch. So after all of that, after everything that happened in that fight and everything that had led up, you also have to remember that Kovalev had 2 assault charges on him at that time as well that he had to deal with. Kovalev was also talking about retirement before the fight, because if you look at it, Kovalev ain't fought since. I'm telling you, that fight was rigged. And he still went in there and won so many rounds. That fight was rigged.
He
Bro.
was winning the fight to me.
That fight was off that alone. I'm telling you, last time I saw Canelo at 175, he went 11 rounds and struggled with a fighter that was depleted. He was done.
Your brother had him up. He had Kovalev
My
up.
brother had Canelo up. Yeah.
He had Canelo up or Kovalev.
I mean Kovalev up. Kovalev.
I had Kovalev up too, bro.
Yeah.
Toby. Let's see. Can I say something? Canelo losing is probably the best thing for the sport. Maybe it will get the other champions to fight each other. What you think, Shane?
Nah, that ain't gonna happen. I the only reason why I want Canelo.
I think it'll give other boxers publicity because it'll
give Bivol publicity. I used to go remember because Bivol's Russian. Oh my gosh, they can't afford for a Russian fighter to be a champion, to beat the face of boxing, bro. Crazy.
Hey Shane, you got another. You have a new rival in the comment section, but I want you to wait. Let me introduce.
Go ahead.
And tell your brother you get a new enemy every show.
Huh?
Conrad Boxing, both Canelo and Fury could be losing this year.
I mean, Canelo's got a tough fight against Bivol. He ain't losing to Golovkin though. If he beats Bivol, he's beating Golovkin.
If he beat Golovkin, I think he's gonna beat him.
Now, Shane. Now, I know you usually don't pull no punches, but there's a female coming at your neck about what you just said.
Cool.
Priscilla Perez says, that's proof the fight was rigged. Oh my God. Excuses so pathetic.
I'm glad you said that. And I'm going to go what you like. I normally go aggressive. Can you name me a case? Name me a case. And if you can name me one case, I'll shut up and never bring it up again. Name me a case in boxing history. And I wish my book was in here. Boxing has been going on for over 100 years. In fact, over 200 years. Name me a case in boxing history. In fact, I do have the book somewhere out there. But name me a case in boxing history where a fighter has to weigh in the day before the fight, make a artificial. No governing body has made him dehydrate. There's an artificial weight he has to make on the night as soon as he arrives in the arena. He has to weigh in and make a certain weight, and then in order for him to rehydrate, not in order, so he can't get full rehydration, they push the fight back an hour just for a benefit, just for a fighter's benefit. So let's say, just so this makes sense, Kovalev weighs in the night before at 175. Every fighter rehydrates. He can't rehydrate because the next day he has to weigh in at 180. In the morning he has to weigh in at 180. Then when he arrives in the arena, he has to weigh at 185. And then once he arrives at the arena, the fight's supposed to take place at 10 p.m. They make the fight start at 11:30. Name me a case where that's happened in boxing, where a fighter has to fight a weigh-in 2 times after the weigh-in and still have to fight within a certain weight class. There's no they're literally allowed no rehydration, none whatsoever. In my opinion, you could make the argument Canelo was heavier than Kovalev in that fight. Possible. You could make the argument Canelo was heavier than Kovalev in that fight. Kovalev had to make 185 on the night. As soon as he arrived in the arena, he had to weigh 185. Name me a case where that happened in boxing.
Priscilla Perez, we appreciate you jumping on. We hope you subscribe. I told Shane to take it light on you because we need your subscription. So and by this next comment, I think she's serious about boxing. Definitely subscribe. It says he's gonna give Mike his breaking news a run for his money. I'm not sure who he's.
I don't know who Mike is.
Yeah, I don't know who Mike is. Take this next comment, Shane.
It's funny.
Take this next comment, Shane.
Kovalev fight was rigged. Those rehydration clauses are messed up. Is Bivol going through the same? Well, I don't know if Bivol's going through the same, but Bivol isn't For one, Bivol isn't as big as Kovalev. That's one thing. And Bivol isn't coming off a camp. Kovalev literally was coming off a camp in Russia and then flew over to America 2 weeks after fighting Anthony Yarde. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then he couldn't rehydrate, bro. It's crazy. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've never seen it in my life.
And the thing is, you can tell during the fight. I think that was a lot of the reason why he was fighting the way he was fighting. If you actually,
when you ever see Kovalev not try and land power punches, bro?
Kovalev was fighting. Kovalev ain't fight. Kovalev was. I had Kovalev ahead in that fight, and he only threw a jab.
Literally the whole fight, bro. He didn't throw no power punches.
Oh, she said Mike Coppinger. So let me go back to that comment. He's gonna give Mike Coppinger his breaking news a run for his money. Gotcha.
Mike Coppinger. Okay. The truth is, Mike Coppinger, he's good at what he does, but you know, he's also pushing a narrative because he works for a publication. So
right. Miles Williams in the building. Big shout out to family right there. Shane, we're gonna get up out of here too. It's good. It's a good fight for me. I respect Rolly's skills, but he ain't fought no one on the level of Tank by 7th round KO. I could definitely see it. Priscilla, artificial wow. So you read the entire contract, and Kovalev had a gun to his head to sign. Shane, put your Batman suit away and stop fighting crime. You're a hero. Kovalev needs you as his lawyer.
Personally,
hold on. Big shout out to Priscilla Perez because she coming right at the GOAT.
No, you're telling the truth. You're telling the truth on that one. Kovalev didn't have a gun to his head. Kovalev did not have a gun to his head, but let's keep it real, bro. Boxers are not bro, sis, or
broette.
Kovalev didn't have a gun to his head. He's just doing what he's just chasing the bag at the end of the day, bro. At the end of the day, like he refused to pay any money in violation of that clause. Personally, I wouldn't have signed it. But if he didn't sign it, he ain't gonna get the Kovalev, the Canelo fight. So you're caught in between a rock and a hard place at that time.
Yeah, Mike Coppinger, read the other comment I put. So Priscilla, I'm gonna ask this question. Pink Furry Goddess said attacking Shane. Yeah, she came in and came for the
You didn't answer my question though. She didn't answer my question.
Priscilla, you gonna
name me a case where a fight has to weigh in 2 times at the same night.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this out here. Actually, I'm glad she jumped on too. I'm gonna put this out here for Priscilla Perez and Pink Furry Goddess. We would actually love to have both of you on the show. I think that'd be a great look for us. Priscilla, I will give you a complete green light to Shane, uninterrupted. As far as I'm concerned, outside of me, Shane might be undefeated in arguments. You know, I gotta get my jab in, bro.
How much time I put Jeff in the
I haven't kept score. Shane is the reason why my argument skills are very sharp. I will definitely say that. But Priscilla Perez and Pink Furry Goddess, if you are interested in coming on the show, definitely get with us. Priscilla, I see you on Facebook. If you get with me on Facebook, or put a 1 in the comment section if you're interested. Toby says, Shane, I am on your side on this one, and that is a rare occasion. Perez, this should speak words. Priscilla said, I've seen Shane's style. He will just not believe whatever I say, like he usually does when he doesn't like the truth.
No, but I agree with you.
Hold on. You missing the point here. She been studying Ice Cold Shane.
Yeah, she has been.
Hey, she been studying. Tell your brother. I'm just here. I'm just here. It's about Shane. They come in here. They get it, Shane. They get it, vlog. They don't pay me no mind, man. They don't pay me no mind. The ladies come here for Shane. Man.
I agree with you. Like, I agree with you. You're right. Kovalev didn't have a gun to his head, and Kovalev didn't have to sign. So you're 100% right. But if he didn't sign to that,
got the fight.
we wouldn't have got the fight. But my question to you is, Miss Perez or Mrs. Perez, however you want to be addressed, do you believe in your eyes that, in fact, why does Canelo, if he thinks he can beat a man fair and square, why does he need to add those rehydration clauses? Because those rehydration clauses are definitely unprecedented. Because you can't, to this day, name a time where a fight has to weigh in 2 times on the night of the fight. And his rehydration limit is 10 pounds.
And Priscilla, I'm going to add this.
And it's not the same for him. Canelo didn't have to weigh in on the night of the fight. Only Kovalev.
And the thing is, Priscilla,
that's crazy.
Priscilla, to add on to this, and I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. Canelo has an unfortunate history of adding favorable stipulations prior to fights. My favorite one is before the James Kirkland fight. And this one's not up for debate or argument. I know this to be fact. I want to repeat that. This ain't up for debate. This is fact. Canelo told James Kirkland, you can't get this fight unless you get rid of Ann Wolfe as your trainer. That's a fact. That's a fact. Pink Furry Goddess, I love you guys. Love you too. Priscilla.
Yeah, that is a fact, by the way. I was just reading the comment. What you just said is a fact.
Yeah.
Again, what fighter can decide what person
trainer
picks their trainer? I mean, it's ridiculous. I remember when Klitschko brothers used to pick what gloves you wear. That's one thing. You know, you used to be able to pick when you come in. When you, I remember Klitschko said to Pulev, "You can't come to Germany until 2 weeks out of the fight," or something crazy like that. I mean, I've never seen that in my life, but I guess Canelo's doing it right now.
Priscilla is definitely a fan of the show.
Picking a trainer, ridiculous.
That's crazy. Priscilla Perez is definitely a fan of the show. Said vlog is cool, Jeff is laid back. Shane is usually wrong in his feelings mood. He was going up for the first time and he learned from the best Floyd. Bro, she cooking right now, bro. Listen, Priscilla, you got to come on the show. You got to come on the show.
But the whole point of a debate is when I ask a question, I get a response. I acknowledge your point that Kovalev did not have a gun to his head, and you're 100% right. Kovalev didn't have to sign the contract. Okay, can you now answer my question? That's all I want. If your next comment isn't answering my question, then I guess you're just giving up this argument, because that's not how debate works.
Priscilla Perez, we need you on the show. Like, can we set up a time and a date? Anybody come listen?
I don't really care. It doesn't bother me.
What you said?
I said I'm far from emotional, by the way. It doesn't really bother me.
Listen, at the end of the day, Priscilla Perez, we need you on the show. Like, point blank period. We need you on the show. Anybody that comes in taking shots at Ice Cold Shane got some cojones. You know what I'm saying? So we need to have you on the show. So let's work something out.
I give you credit because you come with energy, enthusiasm.
I think that's why nobody comes at me, because y'all two are so just y'all are very. But I don't aggressive.
Say anything that's that controversial,
bro. No, listen. You're young and controversial. Like, you're young. It's not what you're saying. It's just like, yo, who this young dude think he is, knowing all of this stuff I'm about to get at him. So you have older people coming at you, younger people coming at you, females coming at you.
Check me about things that I live. This is what you got to understand. I don't fact check people about 90s boxing, 80s boxing. I just take it at face value. I don't fact check people because I didn't live it. Mm-hmm. I live especially the last 6-7 years of boxing, bro. It's very difficult for you to. I live this, literally live this, bro. So it's difficult for you to speak about certain stuff. I live it. I'm not a fan of a fighter. I live it. So
Yeah, she said vlog, we got you. Martha said, hey boo. Hey boo, what's going on, boo? Priscilla Perez, wait, Canelo held the gun to Kirkland and told him fire your trainer or fire this gun. So I got this one, Shane. I got this one. All right. So Priscilla, here's the thing. I have a very famous quote on this show. A fool is somebody that has leverage and don't use it. That's one of my favorite quotes. Canelo at that time has all the juice, and he used it to his advantage. And it's the Floyd playbook. It's the Floyd playbook. Like he literally took Floyd's playbook and just added some things. He just got more extreme with it. Even when Oscar was at the top, Floyd couldn't do nothing. Like Oscar picked his gloves and everything else. Like this is just what happens in the sport of boxing.
It happens in boxing.
It happens in boxing. So it's not a matter of a gun to your head. I don't know what you like to do specifically, but if someone gave you the opportunity of a lifetime and they said, hey, you gotta walk into, you gotta walk into the building with one shoe and a half a stocking, like you for the opportunity of a lifetime, you probably walking in with a shoe and a half a stocking. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it happens in boxing. It's not really about putting a gun in somebody's head. Like,
there's a saying, this is a Hitler saying. The greatest form of mind control is making people think they have a choice when there's no options. That's the greatest form of mind control. You think you have a choice when in actual fact there's no options. There's either this or no.
Yeah. I like Priscilla,
you either take this deal or you get fired. Or either you get fired or you don't get the fight or whatever it is, whatever walk of life you're in, either you take it or leave it. And naturally people feel like I don't know, man. Keep going through these comments.
Priscilla said that was a great fight. I just hate when people say Kirkland was a bum. He was a KO artist at that time, only lost once. There are clauses like that in many fights, but I would have to look it up to verify. With fact checking involves, Shane, I won't answer to what I fully don't have a straight answer.
I gave you some examples already, bro. Sis, sorry. Klitschko used to do stuff like that. Klitschko used to say to his fighters, you can't come into the country or come into the country that I'm fighting in until a certain time. Or he would say that you have to fight in these pair of gloves, or you have to fight in the ring that I approve in. Or he would do crazy things. If you beat me, you have to fight me again. And if you beat me again, you have to fight my brother. If you beat my brother, you have to fight my brother again. Like they would have ridiculous stuff in their contract. Just like that. And it's not unprecedented for people to put massive unfavorable things for fighters. Floyd even done it, and I called Floyd out on it. I'm just saying to you that Canelo's doing it right now, and Canelo's done it to Covenant.
It's certain levels,
and I called him out on it.
And there's certain levels of certain levels of gamesmanship when it comes down to contracts and stipulations and things like that. So Canelo and Floyd took it to the max.
Ridiculous level.
But it's up to them. It's up to the other person whether they're going to do it or not. But you ask any person, are they going to jump through hoops to get the opportunity of a lifetime? They're going to jump through hoops.
But it doesn't
mean they're scared. Like they just doing what they gotta do to get the opportunity.
It's supposed to be a level playing field. Unfortunately, it's not. As Jeff says, when you got leverage, most people just use it. And I called Floyd out on it. I've called Floyd out on it. I've called AJ out on it. I've called every fighter out who uses this leverage. I've called fighters out on it. So it ain't just Canelo who's getting this smoke. It's just Canelo's turn.
Yeah. Priscilla said, you see, I need to look at the facts, then respond with correct answers. Not just my opinion. Opinions are like armpits. They could stink. Cough, Shane, cough. Priscilla, say that again, Jeff. I didn't hear the part where Canelo is the reason Kirkland didn't have Ann Wolfe. So let me explain that a little bit. I ain't going to get too deep into it. But basically, in negotiations with James Kirkland was in a really bad spot on a personal level. and he was not in a great space with Ann Wolfe at that particular time. He was in negotiations with getting back with Ann Wolfe prior to the Canelo fight. During the negotiation, that is what was that was basically the ultimatum. And to be honest with you, what I was told, it was Oscar more so than Canelo that made that stipulation. So I will say that
most of this stuff was Oscar, because Canelo
a
never.
lot of that stuff,
Most of
yeah.
this stuff was Oscar, because I'm not even
So
gonna lie. Like when
Priscilla,
Canelo fought Rocky Fielding, he had Rocky Fielding doing things, but the truth is, it wasn't even Canelo. It was Rocky Fielding. And how I know Priscilla, in respect to Canelo, how I know Canelo didn't ask for the stuff that happened to Kovalev was because when Canelo found out about what happened to Kovalev, he said it recently. He called out Eddie Hearn saying, "Why did you make Kovalev have to do that?" And he was upset with it. And Eddie Hearn, and I'll send Jeff the link. I sent him the link before. Eddie Hearn came out and said it wasn't my show. It was Oscar's show. But because it was on the zone, they thought it was Eddie's show. I'll send it to you, Jeff. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you this week.
So Priscilla said, okay, with your examples, where's the proof? Do you know if the contract said he had to weigh in that night, or you cannot produce the evidence? You asked a specific question, but have yet to provide evidence to claim as it was fixed. I know you're going to answer that. Let me add this real quick, Priscilla. We didn't come into this podcast expecting we was going to have to produce evidence on that particular topic, so I want to make that clear. Go ahead, Shane.
But this is the difference between, no offense to you, Priscilla, this is the difference between someone who watches boxing and who lives boxing. If you watch the full fight card, Jeff will tell you, because Jeff was live for the fight, the whole entire night, did they not have a camera with Kovalev in the changing room? The whole entire night. And the whole entire fight broadcast, they were talking about Kovalev's rehydration, Kovalev weighing in, the time that Kovalev came in, because Kovalev had to come in at a certain time so he can weigh in early enough so he can rehydrate. The whole entire time. If you actually remember, you can watch the full broadcast back again. This is not even something I read. I remember watching the broadcast, and that's what happened. This is what something happened. And if you don't believe me, Canelo even acknowledged it recently.
Canelo acknowledged it. Yeah. So it's out. Priscilla is out there, and I want to explain this real quick, Priscilla. And it seems like you've been watching this for a little while. We're boxing fans, but we know a lot of stuff, inside stuff, a lot of connects, a lot of things like that. So a lot of things that we be speaking, if we really start getting deep into it, it's really from an insider perspective. I'll give you a quick story, and I'll quote this. Edwin said he said, "LOL, she's fire." Yeah. And Priscilla, you said you ain't answered this question neither. We trying to get you to come on the show. Are you down? Are you not down? What's up? Said all of these top guys use some advantages. That's very true. I tell you,
put them out on it as well.
Listen,
when
Tree fought Mushin in Philly, he was like, Mushin and them had an air-conditioned room, snacks and all this and all that. And he said they had them down in like a boiler room somewhere where the heat was turned all the way up.
Literally, when Kovalev fought, what's it called? When Kovalev fought Anthony Yard, Kovalev said when he came to the airport, Kovalev had taken all his luggage. Like he had told people in Russia, and for the first week, Anthony Yard didn't have any luggage. That happens. And if you think I won't call someone out on it, on YouTube right now, when I was in Latvia, I called Sauerland out on the fact that I felt like Bradis was getting favorable treatment over Gworatsky. You can go on YouTube and find it right now. I called Sauerland out about it. So, in fact, I'll put it up on Instagram just for you. I'll put it up on Instagram.
He said, then you shouldn't make those claims. That's called fake news or narrative. So,
bro, why would they be pushing a narrative when Canelo's the house fighter? Canelo was the house fighter. Canelo was the man for the zone. So why would
Priscilla,
the narrative against him?
a lot of the things that we say, we can actually piece together the evidence. Like we can piece it together. Like we can point where the evidence is. Edwin, great minds think alike. Toby, did you guys check out Constazu's son fight recently? I didn't see it, me personally. Did you see it, Shane?
No, I didn't see it, but people
I didn't see it.
Oh my gosh, I'm not getting into this.
My Wi-Fi is down, comes and goes like Shane common sense. Yo, they coming at your neck today, Shane.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I just want I'm not even getting onto Canelo right now. I'm not even criticizing Canelo. I'm just telling you that every fighter has favorable advantage. I'm not criticizing Canelo. Canelo just took advantage of what's it called?
Yeah, Toby, I don't think he has a career like Tim think it is a money grab. Priscilla said no if you don't have the evidence. No,
whatever
Priscilla,
I told watch the broadcast, bro. Watch the broadcast.
Priscilla.
It was on the broadcast.
It was on camera. It was on camera. Like it was on camera. The one thing I will say, Priscilla, is like I personally, and I know Shane don't either, like if you ask us for evidence or show the proof, we will literally send it to you. Like
literally,
we'll literally send it to you. We don't.
Edwin Castillo's here. He knows everything about Canelo. He will tell you.
Yeah, he'll tell you.
And he loves Canelo. He will tell you.
He'll tell you.
Something against Canelo. This is just a fact.
It's just a fact.
It's not saying Canelo's wrong. He's taking advantage of
he's taking advantage. He's using leverage. I don't have a problem with it. We just pointed out.
Didn't Danny Jacobs have to pay 1.5 million to Canelo?
Danny Jacobs was supposed to weigh in the day of the fight. He had and they said if he didn't weigh in the day of the fight, he was going to have to pay $1.5 million. He didn't weigh in and paid the 1.5, and that IBF belt wasn't on the line. That's a fact. That's a fact. You can look that up. That's a fact.
No, it wasn't on the line. It was just only on the line.
It was only on the line for Canelo. Yeah. So a lot of things we say, we can actually give you the evidence. But that's the thing. If we can reach out to you on
Canelo, he's just taking advantage.
He's just taking advantage. Like it's
every fight.
Priscilla,
I don't know why you're defending him.
If we have the okay, if we can reach out to you on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you make your home, we can definitely send you whatever you need. We can send you whatever you need. We don't be talking just to be talking narratives or nothing like that. At the end of the day, Edwin said, "Do you hate me, Shane?" Of course he doesn't. Of course he doesn't. Edwin, I agree with her. He's paid his dues. I'm still waiting for you guys to send me the info to what I sent you.
You don't even know what she's talking about, but fair enough, bro.
No, actually, Edwin, I seen your article. I didn't send it to Shane. I'll send it after the show.
You didn't send it to me, bro.
Yeah, I didn't send it to him. So that's my fault. I'll send it to him right after the show.
Oh, you said, yeah, you're right, bro. At least Edwin Castillo, can you explain? Can you explain to Priscilla that there was a same-day rehydration clause for Kovalev versus Canelo? It's not a negative for Canelo. It's just a fact. Can you explain? Because obviously, it coming from my mouth is a lie, even though it came from the broadcaster's mouth, and it's a common fact. But can you explain that to Priscilla? Because you're a Canelo fan, I guess she will listen to you more than she will listen to me.
Yeah.
But what's the topic for what fights are coming this weekend?
I gotta look that up.
Condon. I think that's it.
I think Conlon fight is this weekend. Trying to think what else. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna have to look it up real quick because I really don't know. Schedule. And I apologize that I don't know off the top of the dome. Let's see. Gabriel Maestro is fighting again this weekend. He coming back off that Michael Fox debacle.
She said, "I want you to show proof that it was fixed." Okay, I'll give you my answer, my fairest answer. The truth is, a fixed fight or fixed The definition of fixed is when the result is predetermined. There is no way on God's green earth. And I get, in a sense, it wasn't fixed because literally, obviously, it wasn't fixed. But there was no way on God's green earth Kovalev could have won that fight. With the clauses and the advantages that were against him, there was no way he could win that fight. So in that sense, it was fixed, in my opinion, because I can't see a plausible way how someone's coming off 3 tough fights in 1 year, an 8-week camp, same day 2-time rehydration, and only able to rehydrate 10 pounds on the night of the fight, is able to win a fight against someone as good as Canelo. That's fixed to me, but fair enough.
Okay. Toby, have you guys seen the laugh that Khan trying to fleece Eddie for some step aside money, saying he's gonna activate his rematch clause? What a bloke.
He's a gangster.
Yeah, he a pimp.
Eddie Hearn said he's paying it though. Eddie Hearn said he's paying it.
Edwin said, there's another article, or it's one I send, but it specifically says IBF rule F5 that they will not allow their fighters to fight in any fight if mandatory is in a purse bid.
Yeah, but for it to go to purse bid, it gives a window of negotiation after order a fight.
Right.
The reason why I'm asking that is because I remember the IBF ordering that fight, but there's a time scale that they would have done it. So look at the time in which they would have done it, and look at when Canelo and Jacobs fought. Because I'm pretty sure, I'm telling you, if they ordered that fight in September, Canelo could have announced his fight before they ordered it, just like it happened with Usyk.
YSM said the deck was stacked against Kovalev, and he took it because they offered him 10 mil and guaranteed him 2 fights on the DAZN platform. That's a fact. So Priscilla, the thing is, so I'm an insider, Shane is an insider, YSM Sports Media is an insider. So a lot of times when we say things and we be like, yo, this is the truth, if you ask us for evidence off screen, we'll give it to you. You know what I'm saying? But it's insider information for a reason. But we can produce the proof for sure. Edwin, me and Canelo didn't know about what was done to Kovalev. You didn't answer her though. You're blaming it on Canelo for it being fixed.
No. If you actually listen to if you were on earlier, I actually blamed Oscar De La Hoya. And Canelo recently came out and said that he didn't agree with what happened to Canelo. Canelo recently came out and said he didn't know about it. And I have to believe him, because when he spoke to Eddie Hearn about it, I sent Jeff the link. Yeah. When he spoke to Eddie Hearn about it, Eddie Hearn said it wasn't my fight, it was Oscar's fight.
Yeah, Edwin,
so Canelo didn't know about it. I'm not blaming Canelo.
You know what? Just imagine what Oscar was doing when he was fighting.
Exactly.
Edwin, but Derevianchenko was stalling. This was a week after Jacobs' fight. To fight is mandatory. Derevianchenko, they actually gave Kovalev $12 million.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly, bro. I can't disagree with that.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that at all, man. But we're gonna close this thing out, man. Hour 53 minutes strong. Of course, we on one topic and it go wherever.
What time were you on tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow. So I don't know. I might need you to start to join up. I don't know what your schedule looking like, but
tomorrow
I gotta hit it. Yeah, I gotta hit a vlog too. I don't know where you been at. Toby, I blame Shane for everything bad that happens in boxing. Just makes life easier. I suggest someone do the same. By the way, Lucas Brown not far from announcing his next fight. He will be king. Tell him to come on the show, man. Tell him to come on the show.
Wait. He says just makes life easier.
Blame it on Shane.
I mean, you might as well, bro.
Oh man, it's funny, man. Before we go, man, it's funny because I'm proud of Shane because he don't really lose too many debates. but I feel
I
like
don't even the truth. I'm not even emotionally attached to this. Like,
I feel like but I feel like I'm a big reason why he wins a lot of these debates because me and him spar all the time off camera. Like, you know what I mean? Toby said, haha, just joking.
Nah,
We
it's cool,
appreciate you,
bro.
bro. All
I got
love, bro.
thick skin, bro. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, when it comes down to this boxing stuff, I don't have a favorite fight. I don't have a fighter that I'm emotionally attached to. So, and I don't hate Canelo. There's this narrative
we
that I
love
hate
it.
Canelo.
Listen, we like Canelo. We like Canelo for
Canelo,
sure.
as I said, if Canelo beats Bivol, he's pound for pound number one. I said that. Credit to
Toby said, just rubbing in the salt you got today. He said, but you handled yourself well, mate. Salute fam is still waiting for the info, Jeff. Don't send me Mr. Screenshot of his reasons to hate Canelo. I'm gonna send him the articles. I did get them. I'm gonna send him the articles.
Yeah, send me the
address
article.
it.
Just tell me the date of the article and I'll be able to explain it to you.
Okay. I got you. Of Shane screenshots listing hating on Canelo. Yeah, bro. I'm gonna handle that as soon as we jump off, because we getting ready to jump off now. Shane, give me your social media so we can get up out of here, good brother.
I'm Shane the number one.
Exclusively on Instagram, man.
Canelo fans are riding for this dude heavy, boy. When Bivol beats this dude, I hope I see these Canelo fans. That's all I'm saying.
Hey man, big shout out to Edward Castile, man, for sure. Follow me on all social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, G5JeffTV, website, g5jefftv.com. Subscribe to the channel. Edwin, no, send me what info you said. This proves what I said. He got you.
Yeah,
he got you. I'm gonna send it right after we get up out of here. Big shout out to BoxingFirstVlog, wherever you at, bro. Big shout out to you. So on behalf of VP Shane, who handled himself very well today, and your boy G5 Jeff TV, man, we will be back tomorrow, episode 70. Peace.